Hello, everyone. It's so lovely to have you join us today. We're excited to share some stories and insights about cooking, ingredients, and how to get creative in the kitchen. So let's dive right in. Recently, I had an interesting experience while preparing a dish that I love to make, vanilla bean pound cake. It's a rich, moist cake with a delicate crumb and a beautiful, aromatic flavor that comes from pure vanilla extract. I was making it for a community potluck, a special occasion where everyone brings a dish to share. I wanted to create something classic and comforting that would appeal to everyone. As I was getting my ingredients together, I realized I was running low on vanilla extract. Vanilla extract is a staple in my kitchen. It's made by soaking vanilla beans in alcohol, extracting the flavorful compounds that give vanilla its unique taste. I use it in a variety of dishes, from cookies to custards, and it's especially popular here in Texas because of its versatility and the warmth it adds to baked goods. So there I was, staring at the almost empty bottle, and I knew I had to think fast. Instead of substituting with another ingredient, I decided to enhance the vanilla flavor in other ways. I used the last bit of vanilla extract I had, and then steeped a vanilla bean pod in warm milk to draw out even more flavor. I also added a hint of bourbon, which has vanilla-like notes, to complement the flavor profile. This approach not only saved the dish, but actually elevated the flavor, making it even richer and more aromatic.
Wow, Jennifer, that's such a clever solution. I can't imagine how nerve-wracking it must have been to realize you were low on vanilla extract right before the potluck. Your idea to steep the vanilla bean in milk and add bourbon is brilliant. I love the idea of enhancing the vanilla flavor, rather than just substituting it. How did the cake turn out?
Thanks, Emily. The cake turned out beautifully. The vanilla bean infusion really brought out a deep, layered flavor, and the bourbon added a subtle warmth. It was a hit at the potluck. Everyone loved it.
That sounds absolutely delicious. Jennifer, I'm curious. When you steeped the vanilla bean, did you let the milk cool before adding it to the batter? I've experimented with infusions before, but I'm always concerned about affecting the texture of the cake.
Great question, Chloe. Yes, I did let the milk cool to room temperature before adding it to the batter. That way, it didn't affect the consistency of the batter, and the cake turned out just right.
I'm so impressed, Jennifer. The idea of using bourbon is so intriguing. I've never thought about that, but it makes so much sense with vanilla's warm notes. I have to ask, did you notice any difference in the cake's texture with the added bourbon?
Thanks, Maya. The bourbon actually helped keep the cake moist without altering the texture. It blended seamlessly with the other ingredients, and the alcohol evaporated during baking, leaving just the flavor behind.
Jennifer, that's such an inventive approach. I can imagine how amazing your kitchen must have smelled with all those rich aromas. I'm curious, though, how often do you face ingredient shortages like this, and do you usually have a backup plan, or was this more of a spontaneous solution?
Thank you, Sarah. I do encounter shortages from time to time, especially living in a rural area where I don't always have immediate access to specialty ingredients. I try to keep my pantry stocked with versatile ingredients, but this solution was definitely more spontaneous. It's a good reminder to stay adaptable in the kitchen.
I absolutely agree with you, Jennifer, and that adaptability is key. Speaking of vanilla extract, I always make sure to buy it from a reputable source that uses high-quality vanilla beans. In New York, we're lucky to have access to so many specialty shops, but I always check that the extract is pure, with no added sugars or artificial flavors. Pure vanilla extract is such a deep, complex flavor that it's worth investing in the best quality you can find.
I couldn't agree more, Chloe. Down here in Florida, we have access to some fantastic local vanilla producers, so I always look for products that are sustainably sourced. I think it's important to know where your ingredients come from and to support ethical farming practices. The flavor difference in sustainably sourced vanilla is remarkable. It's richer and more authentic, which really shines through in dishes like Jennifer's cake.
You're both spot on. I find that in Washington, it's essential to consider the alcohol content in vanilla extract as well. The higher the alcohol content, the better it extracts the vanilla flavor from the beans. I use vanilla extract often in my baking, and a good quality extract with a high alcohol content makes all the difference in the depth of flavor. I always check the label to ensure I'm getting the best possible product.
I love what you all have shared. One thing I look for is the type of vanilla being used. Madagascar vanilla is the most common, but I also enjoy experimenting with Tahitian and Mexican vanilla extracts, which offer slightly different flavor profiles. For example, Tahitian vanilla has floral notes, which can add an interesting twist to traditional recipes. I think it's important to choose the right type of vanilla bean based on the dish you're making.
You've all made excellent points. For me, another critical factor is ensuring the vanilla extract is free of any additives or preservatives. In Texas, where everything is bigger, including flavors, I want the purest vanilla possible to really let it shine in my dishes. Vanilla extract should only contain vanilla beans, alcohol, and sometimes water. Nothing else. When purchasing, I always double-check that the ingredients list is clean and simple.
One alternative I often use when I'm out of vanilla extract is maple syrup. Here in California, we have access to some fantastic locally produced maple syrups that add a unique, sweet richness to baked goods. While it doesn't have the same floral notes as vanilla, it provides the warm caramel-like flavor that pairs beautifully with cookies and cakes. However, I do miss the distinct vanilla aroma when using maple syrup.
That's a great alternative, Sarah. In Washington, I sometimes use almond extract as a substitute. It has a strong, nutty flavor that's quite different from vanilla, but can add a nice complexity to desserts, especially when combined with fruits like cherries or berries. The key difference is that almond extract is much more potent, so I always use it sparingly compared to vanilla.
Those are both excellent options. In Florida, when I need a substitute, I often turn to citrus zest, like orange or lemon. The zest adds a bright, zesty flavor that can lift the dish, giving it a refreshing twist. It's quite different from vanilla, but it works wonderfully in layered desserts like angel food cake or fruit tarts. The main thing I notice is the lack of that comforting, warm undertone that vanilla brings.
All these alternatives are so creative. In New York, I sometimes use cinnamon or nutmeg, especially in recipes where a bit of spice can complement the other flavors. Spices like these can provide warmth and depth, though they don't replicate the same sweet, mellow tastes of vanilla. It's a different experience altogether, but it can create a new flavor profile that's just as delightful.
I'm so grateful for all your wonderful insights. We've covered a lot of ground today, from my vanilla extract shortage adventure to all these creative alternatives and what to look for when buying vanilla extract. Chloe talked about the importance of purity, Maya highlighted sustainability, Emily emphasized alcohol content, Sarah discussed the different types of vanilla beans, and I focused on avoiding additives. Each perspective has enriched our understanding of this beloved ingredient. Thank you all so much for sharing your knowledge and experiences. And to all our viewers, thank you for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed this conversation and picked up some useful tips for your own cooking adventures. Until next time, happy cooking and take care.